I'd now like to introduce the President and CEO, Dr. Paul Salem.
Thank you, John, and thank you for your opening words. Thank you for your leadership of the Middle East Institute. And again, I also want to thank the board as well, and thank all the scholars and staff at the Middle East Institute. And thank you all for being with us tonight. It's been a great honor and a privilege for me to lead this growing institution over the last 6 years. And I know it will go from greatness to greatness. A lot of it thanks to you and thanks to your support. I've been 11 years at this institution, and I'm very excited that I will be moving back to the region to work on Middle East issues from there and to continue to work very closely with the Middle East Institute. What we've been able to accomplish at this institute to make it really the premier think tank on Middle East issues, on U.S.-Middle East relations, on cultural relations between the U.S. and the Middle East is really up to the scholars and staff of the Middle East. I'm glad that General Abizaid already asked them to stand, so I won't ask them to do that again. But just to give you a flavor, over the last year alone, our 24 resident scholars, our 194 non-resident scholars, distributed over 18 different policy programs, have had over 2,000 media appearances, published over 400 or 500 articles, organized dozens of conferences, workshops, policy events, organized dozens of policy briefings to US policymakers, European policymakers, and policymakers in the region, as well as podcasts and many other multimedia means of working on policy issues and communicating. We're all well aware that we are gathering here today while the Middle East is in a very, very difficult situation. We're 6 months into the latest conflagration in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which has been very devastating and causing a lot of loss of life, with still no end in sight. We are 4 days since the major escalation state to state between Iran and Israel, and we are bracing for any reaction that might come in the coming days. Throughout all of these dramatic events, the US is an important player, as General Abizaid said. It is a force that can help bring conflicts to an end. It is a force that can help avoid a major escalation in the region. But it's also a force that can build partnerships, economic partnerships, educational partnerships, cultural partnerships. Because I don't want to say that the region is all doom and gloom. There's a lot of areas where there's interesting economic innovation, social change, certainly a very vibrant cultural life. Our own culture and arts program at MEI highlights the cultural life of the Middle East that is very rich and very varied. But throughout the region, the US remains the main partner, strategically, economically, culturally, but it cannot do things alone. It must work with our friends and partners in the region, and that is exactly the mission of MEI, to work with friends and partners in the Middle East, to work with American institutions, government, and private sector as well, to build a rich web of relations between these two sides. Working together, I think we can work to de-escalate conflict, to avoid wider wars, but also to build on what's positive, what's hopeful in the region. Our honorees tonight, I think, represent those hopes and those possibilities. These are pioneers in the future of space, pioneers in what's possible in the future of technology, and honorees with a great legacy of working for peace in the recent past, even in the most difficult of conditions. It's at times like these that institutions and people must put their shoulders to the wheel in order to bring about a better tomorrow. So I want to thank you all for being with us tonight. Thank you for supporting the mission of MEI. And to keep this event and evening going, I will now direct you to a video about the role of space in diplomacy and international partnerships. So thank you all, and over to the video. Thank you.